If you're a service-based creative and you want to be a self-sufficient creator, the biggest problem out there is that you continually think that you need to work with clients to make money to pay your bills in order to create for yourself. That is wrong. I actually got forced into this method and I hated it, and I was like, why, God, do you have me here? And then God showed me exactly the magic that he was bestowing upon me, and that's what I'm gonna share with you today. And I'm gonna warn you, do not click off this video early. I am gonna give you the strategy at the very end of this that'll save you so much time, so much energy, so that you can make the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time. Because I did it, and I did the full method, and I figured out what days to do this and what days not to do this. And I'll give you a little secret. It's called Uber. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, I'm a creative and I don't want to drive for Uber. Let me tell you this. I worked with Premier League. I worked with the NFL. I worked with YouTube TV. I worked with T-Mobile for Business. I continually work with Dehancer. And I've probably made, I don't know, just under $100,000 for the last 35 years. So driving for Uber, here is how it works. Number one, the toughest thing that I had to deal with was like, should I do a part-time job? Or should I, continually do client work? And I found this out the hard way, and it was so funny, but it's like client work continually drained me. I'm endlessly using my creativity, my talent, my skills, and then it's like we think that we can do extra, but then our nervous systems are like, no creating today, if you know that feeling, right? You're like, you got the money in the bank, you got the time, you got the energy, you're in a cool place like Austin, and you're like, damn, I don't want to create, right? So how do you generate creativity and money at the same time? It's Uber, because honestly, you're falling around a little line, you're clicking yes and no, and essentially 8 hours later, you got $200 if you drive on the right days, right? Okay, so then $200 creativity generates because you can't try to outdrive it, right? You gotta go with the flow of it. And as I promised, at the end of this video, I'll give you all the logistics, but literally Uber was the solution. You can turn it on and you can literally print money, right? And it's like, I can pick whatever day, whatever time. When I wanna take a break, I can take a break. And not only that, if I start driving and I'm like, today's not a driving day, and I get a creative idea, I can instantly stop and start creating. What part-time job is better than that? And I know what you're thinking, what kind of numbers did I make on Uber? So here is the Uber logistics. Ooh-wee. That's a cool screenshot too. But essentially it's like, if you add up all these numbers, I made $4,500 in 1 month. And as promised, I'm gonna give you guys the Uber strategy right now, because I feel like people are about to click off because they're in urgency and scarcity. Don't be that. Don't do that. I'm trying to help you here, all right? So the simple method is I chose to drive here in Austin, Texas on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 4 days. And of those 4 days, the peak time is actually from 12 to about 8 p.m. I hate driving at night. It burns me out really fast. But even driving from, let's say, 12 to 8 p.m., I can make $250 every time. No questions asked, and even more, right? And it comes out to like $35 an hour, which isn't bad for a plug and play. And the money instantly gets deposited onto your Uber One card if you have it. So as soon as you complete a ride, it's on a digital wallet and you can start spending it. Not only that, if you're in Texas like me, I can go to Dallas, I can go to Houston, I can do it in Galveston, I can do it in Padre. You get the gist. If you're in a big state, you can drive anywhere. Austin's the hottest market too. San Antonio and Dallas and Houston were like they were about 20 bucks an hour, and I was like, screw that, we're staying in Austin. But overall, like, this is a very simple method, because what I'm about to share with you is the key to this. If you stayed here, I'm really hooking you up, is Uber's algorithm is set on wealth zones. And if you know this, the trick here is to start in a wealthy area. So I start in Bee Cave, Steiner Ranch, what do they call that? Westlake Avenue. And those people travel to other rich areas, right? And now the trick is not getting cut in a low area. So in Austin, Texas, that would be Riverside. Whenever I got to Riverside and dropped somebody off, I would turn off the no more rides on the way there. I would drop the person off and I'd drive out of there and go back to the rich areas. Also, what I would do is do the rich area, so Bee Cave in Austin and West Hills, and I'd endlessly take people to the airport. And then you drop somebody off at the airport and you take them back to Bee Cave, Steiner Ranch and stuff. And those rides, and as a whole, what I did too was I only did rides over $10. I did not do the short ones. And this is because no matter what, when you Uber, you get to the location, then you tend to wait about 3 to 5 minutes for the people to get in the car, right? So if you would do that, let's say 5 minutes times I suck at doing math on camera. What is that? 5 times 20 is 20, 40, 60. I don't even know, but you get the gist. Like, you pretty much waste an hour or two waiting on people on the short trips versus the bigger trips come with bigger tips. And when you're not surging, people tip you well. When it's surging, they don't tip well. So those two balance out, because on, I'd say Thursday and Sundays, I receive more tip money than fares, but it all comes out to the same amount. And then something else I learned with Uber was the amount of dollars doesn't change. So Uber tries to trick people that are drivers and are like, see, the number's still the same, continue to drive. But what you'll actually realize is when Uber's hot, when Uber's hot, sorry, I had to get back in my channel. When Uber's hot, the amount of money stays the same, but the drive time actually decreases by half. So when you're making $10 for, 10-minute rides, or it goes down to 5-minute rides, then it's like, you're zinging. And that's what I'd say is, like, don't drive in the surge busy areas. Whenever I'm in downtown Austin on a Friday or Saturday night, it sucks. If your wheels aren't moving, you're not making money and you're being compensated to stay in terrible traffic. So I'd say stay out of the surge spots, stay out of the super busy spots. The only time I'd hit those is taking people from like 30 minutes north of Austin to downtown to drop them off for fun. Then I'd pick people up and take them right back up there. And that's called Cedar Park here in Austin. But essentially, it's just a very simple method. And then, like I said, I drive from 12 to 8, 12 to 9, maybe 10, but my nervous system hated driving at night. And one night, it was a Friday or Saturday night. For anybody who loves driving at night, this is some extra gold. I was making $90 an hour driving from, I'd say, 10 p.m. to about 2 a.m. And I hated it because it was dark, and there was bright lights, tons of contrast, right? Like, I'm looking into the Texas darkness and I got lights in my rear view mirror. I didn't like it, and I didn't like the feeling of it in my nervous system. I tend to wind down at 10 o'clock, go to bed at midnight, wake up at 7, right? So it didn't fit my system. So don't pull yourself out of your normal life trying to make money, because the worst thing you'll do is burn yourself out more making money, which will delay your your ability to create, right? Like, creativity doesn't come when we're blasted out of our nervous system and we're dysregulated and we're burnt out. Like, that's when I put off this energetic stench that is like, get the fuck away from me. Don't come near me. I'm tired. And then when I'm recharged, it's like, hi, we want to, and I'm like, yeah, give me a second there, right? Same thing with Uber. I noticed is like, you got to sense yourself of when to drive and when not to drive. It's like, on days that I forced driving, I didn't make shit. On days that I was like, man, I'm bored, I got nothing to do, let's go meet some people, which we'll get to, this is another part of this. But it's like, on days that I was like, let's just go drive, and I was just kind of like Sunday driving, I made money, I made bank. Those are the days I got $20 tips. I got tipped $20 3 times from people. And that is another tip, is like, what I learned as a driver is I'm a 5-star Uber driver, and everybody will comment on it like, how are you still a 5-star? And it's very simple. It's like, I'm a psychic. So when people get in my car, I have 2 responses. No matter what, I'm like, hey, how's your day? Where are we going? And I always say we, not you, right? Like, don't create separation, create connection. 2, if they talked, I'd allow them to talk and keep going, and I'd ask them questions. I wouldn't be like, here, let's talk about me. I'd be like, so what do you do? And let me tell you, where I was driving, I was picking up tech founders, tech executives, and the airport. That's what the airport is. You get all the founders and all the people, and then you stay in the rich areas. These people choose not to drive, and they want people to chauffeur them around, right? And if you know you got that in your car, yeah, all I did was endlessly ask them about themselves. So what do you do for work? Everybody loves talking about themselves, right? And they love talking about their work. So I'd let them go, and I'd ask open-ended questions. So what and how, if you read the book, Never Split the Difference. And then I'd be like, so what do you do? Oh, cool. How does that apply to the market? What are the pain points? What are the bottlenecks? I'd ask targeted questions like they're a client on a phone call, but I wouldn't try to sell them. And then they'd invite me and be like, so what do you do? And I'd be like, oh, I've built an ecosystem with like 8 sales channels and, 64 streams of revenue from $9 to 100,000. And, I used to be a freelance creative. Now I'm just trying to figure it out. I built some software, and I could endlessly just say that, and people would be like, wow, you're driving Uber? And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of tired of the client stuff, and they would tip me well too, right? But I wasn't like, tip me, I need money. I was just like openly talking to them, and then got many business connections too. I got tons of business cards, I got tons of connects, though I didn't pursue them. It was like, man, I think we figured out a cool way to market our brand, make some side hustle money, and then also double down as a creative, creating what I want to with my time and my energy. Like, man, it's almost like the perfect solution. So if you stayed this late in the video, I mean, honestly, that's the method. And the pain of it was like driving on the slow days. Don't drive on the slow days. Like, unless you need the money, don't drive on the slow days. Like, figure out in your city what days are hot, what times are hot. Like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday is like Thursday, Sunday, Monday. It's all airport days here in Austin. So like, I'm continually going to the airport for $10 to $15 to $25, right? And then if you end up in the suburbs, this is a hack. This is a golden hack I found out earlier. It's like, if you end up in the suburbs and downtown's busy and you're the only driver on the outskirts, you make bank. You make so much money because everybody's condensed in one area. It's like when others zig, you gotta zag. You gotta go the opposite, right? And that's a gold mine too. But it's essentially learn the days and the hours that it's busy. Uber shows you that live dashboard and will show you the trends. It's like, don't trust them religiously. With World Cup happening in Dallas and Houston, Austin did lose a little bit of its time, 11:11 on the clock. But at the same time, it's like, there were a lot of people are up in Houston and Dallas, so then still driving on Uber, even though Austin was kind of dead for Austin, I was making bank because I was the only one driving. But when you can also be the only car in the area, you have leverage. And Uber wants to serve their customer, but they also know that when you say no a lot, it starts paying you more too. And that's what I learned is like, don't worry about your Uber status. Uber Gold's better than Blue. You do get better rides quicker. So the acceptance rate does matter. But I even went from Gold to Blue because Uber was like, here's a 3, here's a 2. And I'm like, this isn't even worth my time. And then it bumped me from Gold to Blue. But then when it was hot, it was like, here you go, here you go, here you go. And being a 5-star Uber too does carry it. But it's like, and I think I said that too earlier. It was like the key to being a 5-star Uber is like, be quiet when people want you to be quiet. Like, but always introduce, like, ask them, read the room. Like if they want to talk, they'll make it obvious. If they don't want to talk, they'll make it obvious. Honor both, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, if you give people peace and quiet on a ride, they're gonna love that because maybe they're having a triggered day and their nervous system needs to ground and you're holding space for them, right? This is where the energetics come in. But then a lot of people are lonely in this world, and with all the tech and AI and all this stuff, like human interaction has gone down. So a lot of people seek Uber just to have a great conversation. And like I said, the best tips came from great conversations. I wasn't like, oh, you gotta learn about me. And they weren't like, oh, I gotta steal the mic and talk to somebody for the first time. We had great conversations and I'd be like, man, thank you for the conversation. They'd say it too. Fat tip, right? But super simple method. You can literally turn it on and print money, and you can turn it off whenever you're done. And you can make up to, like I said, I made $4,500. That kind of led to burnout, but I know I can at least cover all my runway through Uber and have some extra spending money if no clients come in and I want to double down on my own creativity. And then as work comes in, and that's what I've been doing, is like kind of balancing. Like I did a 4th of July shoot that was super easy and it didn't take a lot from me. So I'm trying to get at least like one of those jobs to build the bridge so I'm not driving for Uber. But now I can weigh out like, is that job worth it? Maybe not. Cool, let's just Uber if we need money. And then it's like, ooh, that job sounds easy, fun, and maybe there's a good network with it. Cool, let's do it, but let's not put our heart and soul into it, but still deliver a high quality product, right? And then all I'm doing is playing with those. And then it's like, I don't have a recipe or a plan. It's like, it's Monday. What is today even, for instance? It's like, it's Thursday, July 9th at 10:23. 1, 2, 3. All right. But anyways, it's like, I didn't have it on my schedule to wake up today and drive for Uber. It's like, I made money off the job. So now I'm double down on my creativity to full send whatever I'm creating in this moment. Poof. It's like I've created time and space to allow my creativity to blossom and flourish. And if it's here today, I'll create. If it's not, I'll knock out other stuff. Like today, I'm probably gonna clean and just get my space right so that my creativity is channeled towards it, right? But if I needed to, I could drive for Uber. And that's what I was gonna tell you guys too, is every 4 hours is about equivalent to $100 and $125. So if you wanna make $200, 8 hours. And typically I do 200 to 250 in about 7 hours whenever I got my drive times down. So that just kind of gives you the recipe. Like I said, start in the rich areas, and when you get out of them, turn it off, do not accept new rides, and get back to the rich area and watch the rides come in. But if you know the days and the weeks and the times that it's busy, don't drive outside the busy times. Just plant yourself in there, make the most amount of money in the least amount of time, and allow your creativity to open up and flourish, baby. That is literally all it takes. This is such a good thumbnail image too. All right, so, and that's how I shoot my thumbnails, honestly. I just keep the video rolling. So there's a little side tip. But anyways, guys, thank you for being here today. I never thought I'd share a video about driving for Uber as an entrepreneur, but it works. It works really well, and it can build you a bridge to your next destination. And once that bridge is built and you're on the other side, you can let it go, or you can keep it around for a little extra side hustle money for all your adventures, that equipment that you want to buy, and whatever else. Just allow yourself to be open to it. It'll blow your mind. Peace.